Thank you for joining the Collaboration Culture podcast. We'll be with you in about 2 minutes. Go ahead and grab your cup of coffee or your favorite drink and get comfortable and cozy, ready for tonight's show with these dynamic winning women in our Winning Women series for Women's History Month. All right, we'll be right with you in just a minute.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Collaboration Culture podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Winborne. I'm joined by these beautiful ladies that you see on the panel here for another episode, another week of the Winning Women series. And so to my top right, we have Camille Coward. Then we also underneath her have Laura Gethers. And then beside her, right underneath me, we have Ashley Neville. And so I'm going to give them an opportunity to share who they are in just a moment. But please go ahead, share the podcast. Share it out to your network, and then also tell us where you're watching from, who you are. Do you have a business? Last week, we were able to meet some business owners so that we can support them. That's something that we always want to do. So go ahead and share it out. Tell us if you are a business owner, what your business is, and where you are watching from. All right. And so when you share it out, if you don't mind, go ahead and hashtag collaboration culture or just collaboration. That's the spirit that we are walking in, each and every single one of us ladies here. And people think we can't work together, but we're about to prove something totally different. Okay. So let's start with you, Camille.
Okay, well, my name is Camille Cower, rhymes with power. Oh, I'm getting feedback, sorry. And I host my podcast called The Eat Spot with Camille. It's mainly about entertainment, but it's kind of evolved to include other things that I love, which is beauty and design as well, because I work as an actress and I was an esthetician and spa director and all that fun stuff. So I wanted some way to kind of connect all the dots. And what better way than to make your own podcast where you can include everything you love. So I've been doing my show myself for the past 2 years, and I absolutely love it. So that's pretty much me. Oh, great. You don't hear feedback. Okay. It just was like for a second, I heard feedback. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. No, it's okay. And I was like, so glad we don't. So you're good. Welcome, Camille. Love it. So another podcast host. I cannot wait. I have this amazing idea. I'm not going to share it right now, but I'm going to get with you later, Camille, to hopefully we can join forces. So
Yes.
now up, we're going to have Laura Gethers of Love, Heart, or Marriage Coaching, and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me, Kimberly. I am Laura Gethers, the founder of Love, Heart, and Marriage Coaching, where we equip couples with the tools they need so their relationships can succeed. At Love Harder, we believe in doing interactive workshops so that couples can learn and grow together while also having fun. I'm a wife of almost 14 years and a mom of two wonderful kids, ages 10 and 8. And I look forward to sharing with you tonight.
Awesome. Well, we are excited to have you. And you know what? I just realized at the beginning of the show, like, so you're in the DMV, but I feel like you're right here. I've never met you in person, but I feel like I have. Like, I feel like I've hugged you and everything. It's crazy. So, welcome to the show. And then lastly, Ashley Neville, please introduce yourself. Let me, let's see, unmute you. Okay, you can go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ashley Neville. I am the creator of Ashlane Designs LLC. I have been a graphic designer and web developer for about 3 years now. I've been owning this business. Absolutely love what I do. I rebrand companies from small businesses to corporate companies. And I look forward to just meeting other women. I love meeting women. I think most of my main clients actually are women business owners. So it's always fun getting to know them and what they're all about. And just connecting. I can't tell you how many people I've connected with, other small businesses that are, just thriving and growing right now. And I look forward to talking more about it.
Well, so glad to have you. So glad to have you. And I want to dive right in. We got about an hour. We don't want to hold up anyone from the rest of your lovely evening. It's Taco Tuesday. I don't know if that matters to anybody else. But so let's dive right on into the conversation. You ladies are all brilliant in your own right, the various things that you do. And the reason why I called you all the bridge builders is because even though you don't exactly do the same thing, you connect people. You connect people and or you're connected in order to be a resource or a source for others. For Laura, it's helping couples to realize that they can reinvigorate their relationship or keep it strong, and that marriage is an amazing thing, right? And as a result of that, she's connected to, I'm sure, so many different other people who are doing things that could support marriage, that could support the relationship, right? And then Ashley, you just said you're helping women mostly, but other people as well to really expand their brand, which is public relations, communication. But even on another level, Ashley, you also are very personal on your page in the sense of you're very caring, you're very giving and loving. And that is also a bridge builder. So for some people who are weak in those areas, who don't feel like they have anyone to sort of look up to or any of that, they have you ladies to be able to do that. And Ashley, you do that very well. And then Camille as well, kind of similar to Ashley in the sense of public relations, but also bridging gaps with the podcasting, with the TV show, with even acting. All of the things that you do are making connections, new connections. You are a source of light for so many people. So that's why I called you all the bridge builders and why I asked you all to be on the same show together, in case you were wondering. So immediately when I met each of you, I just felt like you had a light about you. Ashley, I was like, I'm such a fan. I don't even know if at that time you knew how amazing you were. And I was like, I'm such a fan. You guys have to follow her. She's an artist, not just a graphic designer. And then Camille, you were so humble, sort of like behind the scenes doing your thing. And Laura was just so sweet. And I was like, I love each and every one. So bridge builders, how is it that you all, and I'll start with you, Laura, how is it that you came up with the idea of the business that you all have, and what is the sort of one of those amazing stories that you come across where the work that you're doing has made a difference?
Honestly, I ask myself this question frequently. How did you get here? Because I did not start here. I did not go to school for this. I went to school because I actually enjoy helping people start nonprofit organizations. That is another passion of mine that I do still do a little bit. But I got started because some friends came to me and they wanted to work on their relationship, but they weren't ready to invest in counseling. They didn't think counseling was the way for them. And so I did this interactive workshop where you had to navigate through all of these different exercises, and they were built around trust, communication, and teamwork. And if you struggled to get through one of those obstacle courses, then you had to admit that you were struggling or you needed growth in that area. So these couples navigated through it and everyone had a blast. It was non-threatening. You were able to learn some skills. We were able to converse as a group. And then that just grew. And that led me into writing a marriage devotional that really centered around 1 Corinthians 13 and how to apply it practically. And from that marriage devotional, I created a workshop, which is a conflict resolution workshop for couples, where I use boxing techniques to teach conflict resolution. And that is my favorite thing to do. Now, just recently, I was doing an Instagram live, and in the comments, someone commented that they had started following me a couple of years ago, and they were on the brink of a divorce. And they would read my prayers every day, and that's what helped them remain in their marriage. And they just wanted to thank me because those prayers really allowed them to see what they couldn't see in that moment. And so that to me, because this is someone that did not do my one-on-one coaching, this is someone who did not participate in one of my workshops, but they just followed me on Instagram. And
That's so
that
awesome.
just blessed my entire soul. So that is one story that will always stick to me because I've never connected with this person on an individual level, but because I'm intentional about what I post, it was able
Yeah.
to impact her relationship.
Yeah, that's good. And one of the things about life itself is that you never really know where it's going to lead you. But if you're walking in a path where you're open to purpose or when you're open to serving, that's
Yes.
one of the things I tell young people a lot. If you don't know what you want to do, serve. And in that
Yes.
serving, you'll figure out what it is that you want to do. And so I'm going to jump on over to Ashley with the same question. How is it that you ended up doing what you're doing, and what is something that an impact, a story where it has really affected someone's life?
Oh gosh. Well, honestly, I never had thought about even having a graphic design business, even though I went to school for it. I was an art teacher for about 4 years. And then I started working for a branding agency part-time. And I realized that they were outsourcing me, whatever, and I was getting paid maybe like $1,000, maybe $500 at a time to do like logo designs. But this company was like making like thousands of dollars from like the designs I was creating for them, but I was only getting paid like not even close to that. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I go in business for myself? And then at the time I had a newborn son when I started my business. So he was definitely part of that motivation to like really step out there and follow my really like just follow something that I knew that I was good at. And it started just to become like a passion of mine. And I just met so many different people. And I can honestly say that I think I don't know if this is like, I know this is a story, like you said, about me impacting somebody else, but I will say that I was impacted by women actually taking a chance on me when I first started.
Yeah.
So I had just bought my computer. I was a single mom. I didn't really have a lot of money to start up. And I saw that some women needed some branding. I was like, listen, this is my work. Can you take a chance to me? And actually, I had 4 different women, which I'll never forget, actually took a chance and gave me a lot of referrals at the time. And at that point, I was like, okay, I had to give back to like when I started expanding, getting more clientele. I would do, especially for mothers, if I saw a mother who needed branding, and I would just do it for free.
Yeah.
Just to show my way of like me when I first started. Like I was a single mom and somebody took a chance on me and really helped me thrive. So I try to do that every now and then with startup businesses, even if it's just donating money or just supporting, showing some type of support. So that's what changed my life. So it's really somebody else changing me.
Yeah.
Just taking a chance on me. And
Yeah.
that affected me. So that I'm good with that. Like God is in my business after that. And I try to do the same for other people. So and just when I get clients telling me, you know, how they're now making money or how their lives have been changed just by simply branding them, even if it's just logo development or website, but now they're being able to like maybe go. I had one young lady who couldn't get past 2K a month, and now she made her first 10K. So that was great from rebranding her. So, but honestly, it's really what somebody did for me. I actually will never forget that for the rest of my life because
they took a chance.
Yes.
Yeah,
and here.
Yeah. And that means a lot, right? When you're launching out there and somebody takes a chance on you and you don't have the confidence yet, really,
Yeah.
you know, even though you could be amazing, you don't quite have the confidence yet. And somebody says, I believe you can handle this for me. It could be something that you didn't even it could have been a drawing that they saw and they were like, I'm sure you could do something else. And so that's powerful. I love that. And so you're open to changing the narrative. You open to changing the question. It's fine. I love that. And you give back now. So that's the thing, like that path created an avenue for you to now give back as well, because you realize in your journey how important it was for somebody to take a chance on you and give you a break. And so Camille, I want to ask you that, but I also want to I want to add a little bit to the question. So I want to add just the dream. Let's just add the dream. That's it. So the question was, I'll repeat it, you know, in your journey, what made you do what you do? And you wear a few hats. So that's why I want to add the dream, because you're an actor, right? You're an actress, you're a podcast host, you do a few different things, which I think a lot of people would be afraid to step out and do. So that's why I want to add the dream as a part of your journey when you're sharing, if you don't mind.
No,
Is
I
it?
don't.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to add on to Ashley's. There's nothing like a check curing imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Like that's an instant cure.
Yes.
Well, at least that's what I was thinking when I heard that story. I was like, oh, that'll do it. 10,000. Okay. Yeah. Well, so I grew up overseas, and I grew up in Germany, Turkey, and Holland. There wasn't a lot of people that looked like me walking around, but there were on TV. So I was watching Dynasty and Diana Ross. I'm giving away my age. Yeah, I'm 46. And so I was watching these women and I was just like empowered by them and like, ooh, that's what I want to be. And so I would perform in front of every mirror. I was always on our coffee table reenacting Diana Ross's latest hits or whatever. And when we moved to America, my mom remarried to a movie producer, which, I mean, talking about the stars aligning, but I was a very awkward teenager. I had huge glasses. I wore braces. I didn't really fit the mold. But then there was like Tootie on Facts of Life that came out. So I was like, there's a place for me still. So that kind of just kept keeping me inspired. I even went to an all girls school because of her. And that kind of backfired. Don't recommend. But I majored in sociology because I had to take time off because I was paying my own way through college. And meaning I started back acting because I was like, I don't know anything else I know how to do. And I had worked on some of my father's films, and a lot of those opportunities came from me just auditioning on set. Like I was already there and they were like, oh, we need another kid to do this or that. And so I was like, well, let me try it here. There was actually a guy that came up to me while I was working at the Clinique counter. See, it's all connected. And said, hey, you should be a model. I'm like, okay, in North Carolina. And he was right. I did a lot of different like hair shows, fashion shows, and signed with with the agency I'm with now, and did Dawson's Creek, a few other movies here in North Carolina, having our say. I can't think of all of them now, but then got to a point where I was like, I'm more of a commercial girl. So that's what I ended up doing, and went back to school to get my esthetician license because I was like, I want to be on set as much as possible. Let me find another way in, since I didn't really have control over what I got to audition for. And there wasn't always that much opportunity for someone that looked like me. Again, this is the South. So I started working in makeup, got my license, fell in love with being an esthetician, did that for a while, moved to LA, met my husband there, was still working as in the spa world. And then when I moved back to North Carolina, found out I was pregnant. I was like, ooh, that doesn't really work with the esthetician lifestyle. And the spa that I worked at, I was the spa director for Iatria. It closed soon after I went on to maternity leave. So I didn't really have a job to go back to. But thankfully, acting was really picking up. So I was just doing that. And then HB2 law happened. So then it died again. And I was like, all right, let me find a way to get control over my life again. And so I always kind of wanted to be a VJ. And I actually tried out for that when they were local and didn't make it. But that's another story, another day. And just I kept trying to figure out a way to control my own narrative, to control the images that were put out there. Because a lot of times when you work on set, the people there don't look like you. So they don't know how to do your hair. They don't know how to do your makeup. And a lot of times I'm like, I don't even want to look at myself because I know I look a hot mess. And if my friends saw me, they would laugh. So it gave me that chance also to show my skills at makeup and that I don't look that bad as they portrayed me. Because, sometimes the hair, there's so many times they would put hairspray in my hair and other stuff. Like,
It didn't work.
Yeah,
it
like
just didn't work.
Poor little things. So I went in to talk about the business of entertainment, which was an event that was coming here to North Carolina. And I went on to a friend's radio station. And after being on that station, they were like, hey, would you like to do this every week? And so I did it every week. I won Best Radio Personality while I was on there. And then the pandemic hit. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to take my audience home.
Yeah.
Here. And I've been doing it here ever since, because that was like March 9th, I think, was my last day there. So somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So
I love that. Your story is layers of, as a result of doing, you learn, and then as a result of learning, you implement it. And sometimes you had to learn on the fly, which is so much so entrepreneurship, right? You had to learn on the fly, but it increased your skills. And as a result of your skills increasing, you got opportunities. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, even to like Ashley's point, other people believed in me. Other people saying I could be on radio because I'm dyslexic. I have like other issues. So I was just kind of like, I always made that excuse. Oh, you don't want me on live TV or live radio. I might mess up. I'm used to people giving me scripts to say and memorizing those and just reenact them. But thankfully for improv training, which I recommend for all podcasters or anyone in front of a camera, take improv. It helps.
Yeah.
I think I need to take that.
You gotta take improv. Improvisation is so important. I have not taken an improv class, specific to podcasting, but my background is media communications. And my teacher for my public relations class, I don't even want to tell you guys about this man. He was no joke. So it gave me skills that I didn't even use for years, but I'm able to use now, because we would have to on the fly just be ready with the subject. And so you're right. Like, it helps to build your experiences, help to build who you become. And so a lot of times people will say, and I'm sure you guys have heard this, how do you do so much? Like in your business, how do you do so much? How are you able to balance so much? How do you do so much? And that's one of the things. As a result of the various skills, you may become excellent at a thing, but you don't stay there. So then you become excellent at another thing and you don't stay there. And you prioritize. So that's one of the things I want to go to and ask about, because everybody, I think, is a mom, right? You all are mothers. Maybe some of you have a husband or a significant other. How do you do it? Right, Ashley.
Like, she's been showing that ring. I'm like, oh, somebody is not a single lady. Like the way
we all knew it was coming, right? We all knew it was coming. Follow her. We were just waiting. But how do you I don't even know if the word is balance. Just how do you do it all? Because people often say women you can't do it all. So how are you managing your life? Let's start with you, Ashley.
Oh gosh, I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah, that's one of the best answers.
I am still figuring it out, especially time management. Like, because my son, he's 4, he's going to kindergarten in the fall, but he's into so much, so it's just like busy, busy, busy. But my fiance, he's absolutely amazing. He definitely helps out a lot with me. So, and him. So, like, honestly, without him, I don't even know, because I'm still figuring it out. It's hard. I just started outsourcing just for other people to help, like with printing, photography, styling. So I'm thankful for my team, John Brown, Brittany Nicole, Lux Prince. Like, thank y'all, because I to do all of this because it's definitely hard. It's hard doing everything by yourself. Because I do all the designing by myself. So it can be rough. It can definitely be rough.
Elaine says, "Hi, ladies. It's great to hear crooked lines lead you straight on your path." That's such a good.
Ooh,
that's,
I like that.
Yeah, that's impactful. And let's shout out to John Brown real quick, because I have been working with him for about 5 years. So all of the pictures and stuff with Coffee and collaborations are John Brown. The graphics are Elton Benjamin, but John has been my photographer forever.
Yes, John is amazing. I use him for all my clients, brand and shoot.
Yeah, he is. He is. And he's an example of somebody who's building and growing. And so I love it. So Laura, let's go over to you with that question. How are you able to manage it all?
First, I love the fact that you pointed out that a lot of people do tell you you can't have it all. And I don't know why people think it's okay to tell someone what they can and can't have in life. I like to say you can have it all in the season that you're supposed to have it. And I think a lot of times we want everything when we want it versus embracing the fact that things happen in seasons, right? I couldn't do all that I do now when my kids were younger, because they were my priority. Up until this year, I homeschooled my children. They were my number one priority. And so understanding that this was a temporary season, not a permanent season, I embraced the season I was in and prioritize, exactly like you said, Ashley. You learn on the fly. You learn how to do it. I learned how to prioritize. Okay, this is a day that I can do X, Y, and Z. I also invited my children into my world. I didn't just go into there, so they understood that though they were my number one priority, they were not my only priority. So they started to see that mommy had other things that she enjoyed doing. And so I could take meetings at the library. My kids could go to story time, come out and sit at the table and play with the puzzle, because they knew that mommy was in a meeting. I could see them, they could see me, and they learned 5 and 6. My kids weren't interrupting me. They knew how to get their own snacks. And so you train them to come into your world as well. Yes. And I think about how that equips them. But then also communicating with my husband things that are important to me and things that I really want to make sure that I'm able to get done, while also recognizing that there are seasons that he's going to thrive and I might need to pull it back a little bit so he can go out there and shine as well. So communication, collaboration, partnership, and making sure that your family understands what's important to you, as well as you understanding what's important to them, so you can show up for them as well.
Yeah, I love that. A big component of what you talked about, though, was communication. So by communicating with your children, some level of order and structure, bringing them into the business, the growth, whatever it is, and then also communicating with your spouse, communicating probably with your family as far as your priorities in this season versus, I'm sure somebody at some point had to say, well, why are you always at home and he's out, blah, 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 because people always have stuff to say, right? And
if they said it, they didn't say it to me, because I don't play about mine.
Right?
Just let it be known. I don't play about mine.
But just people understanding that you guys though have communicated what's happening in your household in order to
Yes.
thrive. And so I love that. I love that the main word that you broke out and discussed, first of all,
Mhm.
collaboration, but communication.
I
Camille,
didn't
I
say
want to
help.
ask, go ahead.
I didn't say ask for help. Because
Hmm.
I think that's vital. A lot of times
Yeah.
when I was first starting out, my friends would come and help me with vending. They would come and
Hmm.
help me with my conferences. I had
Yeah.
people who stepped in to help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. I want to
Amen.
make sure I said that because I don't want you to think it
Yeah.
was a one-stop shop. I had to ask for help and
Absolutely.
people helped.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that many people, especially women, have a problem with
Yes, we do.
doing. Wait, uh-oh, because we're coming to you. Uh-oh, but asking
Wait
for
a minute,
help.
Camille.
Yeah, I
Look,
know.
It's true.
it's an
We
only
just,
child syndrome, I think. I don't know.
uh-huh.
And I was reading something recently, like it's rooted in trauma as well, because
Yeah, it is.
I have that issue as well, where you're just so used to people not being there for you that you don't know
Yep.
how to accept help, how to ask for help. Because I am
Mhm.
a one woman shop. I mean, thankfully, my husband helps as much as he can, and so does my daughter as well. But it
Yeah.
24/7, it's me for the most part.
Yeah.
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 And
I
that's
think that's
so,
a struggle for Black women in general too.
Mhm.
you think so?
Yeah.
Asking for help?
Because
Yeah.
we're
So
Oh
told we
yeah.
have to be twice as good, twice as better, and don't like I went through
The
hysterectomy
superwoman
season.
syndrome.
Yeah, like you're not allowed to tell anybody when you're
Mhm.
weak, and
mhm.
asking for help is considered a weakness when it's not. It's so much strength in that to be able to
Yes.
ask for help or to
Yeah.
Yeah.
even know that you can depend on someone else.
And I
Yeah.
don't
So
want that syndrome.
I don't know about that.
Superwoman.
I
I
don't
might
want
have
to
to
be
take that to
superwoman
therapy
at
to
all.
unbox that one.
Yeah.
Well, that superwoman syndrome leads to high stress, which can lead to
Yes, it
high blood
does.
pressure, which African American women are the top demographic for heart disease. And so those are some of the things that we have to tackle, like asking for
Yeah.
help. I've been through it too. Like I've been through it where it was a little bit more difficult because you feel like somebody's gonna leave you astray or lead you astray or not show up, or you had people that didn't show up. But one of the things that I've learned along the way is that you just got to keep asking. You got to
Yes.
keep trying and pray for discernment.
Amen.
Right. Pray for discernment. So, and ask, I pray specifically and ask God to send me the help that I need. Send me people that'll say to me, girl, you better ask for help. You better call
Yes.
me. Like, because that's what I needed. And as a result, I was able to grow and expand. So
Yeah.
Camille, we're gonna shoot the question over to you because it's kind of still in the same vein. But let's talk about productivity instead. So how is it that you start your day? What are things that help you to be productive daily? How do you end your day?
Well, I guess I have like a time limit to try to have my social media done by a certain time, and then I'm
Mhm.
off of it for the rest of the day
Mm.
until like notifications get to a number where it's just crazy and I need to reply back. Then I'll reply
Mhm.
back because otherwise I'll be on there all day. Because like I mentioned off air, I'm ADHD,
Mhm.
so I can look at all the videos, and next thing you know, it's 3 hours have passed. So it's not a good place for me. Um, but I wanted to kind of go back and answer about this knowing the different things, how to compartmentalize everything. Cause I am a
Yeah.
mom, I am a wife,
Yeah.
and my husband's not home that much. Like he works a job where he's gone 7 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, maybe 8 o'clock at night. So it is pretty much all on me too. So I make sure my work day ends by the time my daughter gets home from school. I'll do
Mhm.
occasional stuff after hours, but for the most part, that's why I changed my originally my podcast was at 6 o'clock at night, but she
Mhm.
was at home. And so when she went back to school, I had to change it because I wanted to be there for her if she needed help or if I needed to drive her to all the
Mm.
Yeah.
extracurricular activities that you have to, all the stuff. So I didn't want that to change. And plus, I didn't want her grades to slip because if I'm not on her every 5 minutes, she won't be doing homework. She'll be on YouTube just like her mama because it's genetic. So there's that. But like for me, productivity, I have in my phone about 20 calendar alarms to remind me to do this, do that, and even to take a break, to meditate,
I
to
need to do that.
have all of that. Gym. I may not do it when it comes off. I may snooze it a few times, but it's there as a daily reminder to take those time. And Even shower is in there because, you get to a certain time of the day, you're like, I'm too tired.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. This clock went off. Or, like I had to go off at 7 o'clock, so I'm not too tired, and don't
Mm-hmm.
make excuses for it. But I have an alarms. I have calendar reminders. I put everything I can in my calendar to remind me, and I have a written one as well, just in case, so I can move things around quickly and I have it backed up because I'm always so scared that something's going to happen to my calendar and it's not there. At least I have it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't have an Ashley in my life, so I have Canva that helps me as well, where I have certain days where I use
There's
Canva
nothing wrong with
to
Canva.
get all my
I love
ads
Canva.
out for my show and everything. Because I did have a guy that was helping me at the beginning of the year, but then he started pricing out of my budget, and I was like, oh well, you know what? I can't afford you anymore.
Yeah.
So best of luck to you. And plus, like, it wasn't working with my time schedule. I would
Mm-hmm.
need something on Fridays and he would have it to me on Monday. And so I was like, if I'm paying
Right.
you, I need it
Right.
before. So I'm not stressing
Right.
out Saturday, Sunday when it's coming. So
Mhm.
it was more
Right.
about that than money. But anyway. So yeah, those are the
Into
things
your
that help me
time.
is alarm calendars. And there was a saying that I read. I think he was the CEO of Coca-Cola, and
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned that in life you have glass balls and you have rubber balls, and you're just constantly just juggling them, but you have to know what's the glass that if it shatters, it's irreplaceable. You can't put it back together. And that's like your family, your kids, doing things for
Yes.
them, as
Yeah.
opposed to rubber balls. It bounces. You can do it another day. And so just really, like, that's a reminder to me. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, if I don't make this for my daughter, if she needs me now, that's something she'll be in therapy talking about. So I do make the joke that I'm building your therapy fund, so you're going to have to wait. But then I'm also like, oh, I can take out of that therapy fund because mommy did it good.
Yeah.
So there's that element too.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
And productivity, some of the things you mentioned was that you set alarms and you calendarize things. So even the meditation, and I love that. I remember years ago, people have heard me share this story. I was about to self-diagnose, or people were diagnosing me with vertigo because I would get dizzy a lot and spin. And instead, what I found out is I wasn't breathing. Like, I wasn't taking the time, just going. I
Wow.
wasn't breathing properly. And I had met a life coach, went to a retreat just one night, and we did some deep breathing exercises. And I started practicing that. Just, how you go to a retreat or something, and then from there, you gung ho about doing everything at the retreat, right? So I actually did it, and I set an alarm every day throughout the day to breathe for 3 minutes. And I could be doing something and I just breathe, right? And it went away, the dizziness. So I didn't have vertigo. I wasn't breathing deep enough. And that's what
Wow.
happens when we go, go, go. So I love that you mentioned that you calendarize that, because that is one of those things that we do kind of overlook, and even
Mhm.
taking time to eat properly, and so that you can digest well and all of that, because we're rushing. And so a couple comments: we need alarms and calendars to help with our schedules. Absolutely. Ashley, you
And
said that you got
scheduling the breaks. It's,
scheduling the
the breaks
breaks.
are just as important as the work because you got to
Yeah.
Yes.
recover.
Yeah, I think many entrepreneurs have this sort of like probably like a hustle mentality for a lot longer than we should. So you saying that you stop when you need to pick up your daughter, most people are saying that's when I'm actually jump starting the work. A lot of people, I'm trying to work these hours for these projects, but now I got to go into overdrive from like 6 to 9, and then I'll actually start resting. Ashley, you were gonna say something?
No, I was agreeing. That's me.
Agree.
Look, it was difficult because I'm a night owl. Like, my
Yeah,
Yeah,
brain
I
doesn't
am
start working
too.
until about
I
2
am
o'clock.
too.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
just had to retrain myself to stay up even later. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's difficult. And
yeah,
I do break it, but my goal is to try to have everything done, at least on my phone computer, so I can pay attention to her and maybe do other things. But I make
yeah,
sure when she comes home, she knows she's a priority for at least the first hour. And then from
yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Elaine said you don't want people to think you don't have it together as a
Yeah.
part of some of the stuff earlier. And then Al had mentioned is cultural conditioning. So that's when we were talking about Black women and how, we want to just keep going, or we allow stress to take over us and don't
Not
want to get
asking for
help
help.
or ask for help. He said
Mhm.
have to do it all and make it look easy, and that
Yeah.
goes to productivity and why it's essential and important to ask for help and to do what Ashley was talking about doing, which is to outsource. And so
Yes.
one of the
Yes.
things that
Do it.
Camille
Do
mentioned,
it.
Canva. So
Mhm.
she mentioned Canva, and I think, and Ashley, I want to ask you this question because you're a graphic designer. Do you like I know that I do Canva a lot, and so my graphic designer that I work with, sometimes I'll send him some of the things that I've done just to kind of get a check and balance, since he's been my designer for a long time. Do you teach Canva to some of your clients just to kind of help them in the midst, or like what's your thoughts on all of that?
Actually, I do plan on having a course this summer about those who are interested either in becoming a graphic designer
Okay.
to profit, or literally for business owners who want to be consistent with their branding. Like,
Yes.
I kind of teach you, like, we make it so it'll look good. It doesn't look like Canva because you don't want it to look like a template or
Right.
look like somebody else's. But I'm not against Canva, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, of course, I'll use like Adobe Illustrator
Right.
and Photoshop, so it's a little bit harder. But I am gonna be teaching how you can do like simple like templates, social media templates, flyer designs for everyday people who can't, it may not, because it can be expensive. You
Yeah.
literally outsourcing over and over again for flyers and templates, it can be very expensive. So
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I
make
wanted to
sure it
get
looks
your
good.
I wanted to, this is your area. So I wanted to get your feedback on what she said, because I think that is valuable. I mean, it's the truth that sometimes we do have to, as entrepreneurs, do a couple things ourselves. And so
Yes,
it's good to be able to have that to say, hey, I know you can't always reach me, so let me help you to be able to potentially do. I think it'll be
exactly.
a great class for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Miss Peggy Tatum said of the Connection Place, she's amazing. I love her. She has a magazine and all this great stuff, and she's probably gonna roll her eyes for me shouting her out because she did not come on here for that, and that is her personality. But I am going to anyway. She says I have an alarm every day at lunch. Does it make sense to determine if I am off track? That's good.
I
So
like
she has like
that.
me too. Me too. That I do too, because now it's like a stopping point or a moment to kind of regroup and
Yeah.
say, am I on or off track? Al said, and I'm gonna go to wrong one. I'm gonna go to his comment because I want to jump over to you, Laura. My wife and I have individual calendars and family calendars that connect to our phone, and we're still talking about productivity. So I want to give you an opportunity. So, is this something that you do for your family, or you recommend for other families as a part of bringing the whole team together, the individual calendars and family calendars?
So I think people have to do what works for them.
Yeah.
Like we don't we don't like my husband and I, we like I'll tell him when we need to when I have an appointment or the kids have an appointment, but we post what the kids are going to do on
Hmm.
the refrigerator, so everybody knows what everybody's doing, not just him and I. So
Yeah.
we
That's
do
good.
in that aspect, we post their schedules, but we actually sit down and talk about our day. We actually sit
Hmm.
down and talk about what's coming up. And so I make it a part of conversation, whereas for some people that will work amazingly for them. But
Yeah.
I do, because I like to get his input, especially if I have a doctor's appointment coming up with the kids. Like, is there
Yeah.
anything you want me to ask the doctors? I take
Yeah.
notes so that he can know what's going on with my health as well. So I use it as a conversation point, but I
Yeah.
think in essence of making sure that everyone's on the same page, that's a great method of productivity for his particular family and any other family that likes to connect their phones and their schedules and calendars. I get overwhelmed. I personally get overwhelmed when I see too much on my calendar. So I'm a big time blocker. Like I
Yeah.
just need to know what I need to do for that moment, because if not, I can easily get overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
that book, what is it called? The 12-week year. has
Mm-hmm.
really helped me. It has really
Okay.
helped me become more productive because I am scheduling things. Like I look at my calendar quarterly versus annually, and then
Mm-hmm.
each day I have scheduled what I need to get done. Like on Thursdays, I schedule a 3-hour time block where it's uninterrupted. It's do not
Yeah.
disturb. If something's going on with the kids at school, it's going to my husband, right? It's not going to come to
Yeah.
me like it normally
That's
does.
smart.
And I think that that book has really helped me have more self accountability
Mm-hmm.
as to making sure I'm not getting off track. I really love that statement because that's accountability. Am I doing what I said I was going to do in this time period? And so that really blessed me. But
Yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
like to do around these parts. But I do think it
Okay.
is great. I think it's great
I
for
love it.
those who, especially those who are really busy, or those if you have a spouse that's traveling a lot, for you to be able to see what at least is going on. So if you do have any questions, you can ask them.
So while we're still at you, how do you prioritize you? What is something that you do
Oh,
to
I
get you some me time, and then everybody else will jump to you. So
I
quickly,
get
how do
me
you
time
prioritize you?
every day. I get me
You do
time.
what?
Every
You get
day
me
I get me
time.
time. When I say every
Yeah.
day, I do mean every day. I wake up
Love it.
before anyone gets up. I'm an early bird. When y'all said y'all stay up late, I'm like, no, I'm me, 4:30, 5 o'clock. 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm up. I'm reading my devotional. I'm sipping on my favorite cup of tea. I'm coming down to the basement to work out. I'm gonna do a load of laundry, and then I'm gonna go wake the kids up.
Love it.
Like that's me. Monday through Sunday, Laura is going to get at least 2 hours of uninterrupted time in the morning because that's what fills my cup. And then I'm able to give them the overflow, right? My
Yeah,
cup isn't empty at all. They're getting the overflow because it's full.
I love it. Ashley, what about you?
What is that?
Your me time. How are you prioritizing yourself? What are you doing? What do you like to do for your time for yourself?
Gosh. Whew. What do I love to do for honestly, I need to be better about that. I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of my time is spent around my son. So it's like, even though he's in school, now I will say when he's out of school, well, I'm sorry, when he's in school, I do have a little bit of me time because, but then not really, because I'm either on a brand call or I'm doing design work. So until I go pick him up, and then it's all about him. So it's kind of like there really isn't a time where I just kind of really take for myself. So I definitely need to do better with
Some me
Ashley, we're going to
time.
hold you
I'm
accountable.
saying.
At
I'm
least 30
saying.
minutes. Right, Camille? At least 30 minutes, Ashley. Just
I
30.
mean, it could be as simple as just watching a show or
Yeah.
listening to some music and
Yeah.
dancing, like it doesn't take much. And it's harder with the 4-year-old. I get it because
Yes, it is.
they're getting into everything if you're not watching them.
Yes.
But while he's in school,
Yeah.
it could be just jamming in your car on the way home from carpool or
You know what? Yes, I've never cherished like sitting in my car. Like I'll sit in my car for about 15, 20 minutes. Even if I'm going to the grocery store, I'll be like, I'm just sitting in the car real
I
quick.
love it.
No, it's funny because I did that all the time. I'd be in the garage and my husband like, are you coming in?
Right.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I
Yes.
think
I
a
will
lot
sit
of
in the
people
car
do
for 20
that.
minutes.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like a mission reset before I go in the house.
Yes.
Like, let me sit in
like,
the
let me
Yes.
remember
car.
everything about me again before I
Yeah,
go
just
in because
like
you just finished an errand or
yeah, maybe just jumped off of a call, and you're like,
Mhm.
okay, let me decompress, chill for a minute. I hear a lot more women say that. I don't hear a lot of men. I wonder how many men actually do that. I hear a lot of women say that they do that when
maybe
they
that's
get
why we live
home.
longer.
Probably.
We get
We
ready.
don't realize we're getting me time, but we're getting it in
We're
somewhere.
getting it in. Yeah. So Elton said designers have no life. We're different.
Really don't.
Oh, we had an intervention. We had an intervention here. So Ashley's gonna try to get in about 30
Yes, I
minutes
promise
a
you,
day.
I'm gonna try to do that.
If you don't, your body will either force
Yeah.
an illness on you to make you take that time. So it's better
Oh,
if you
don't want
get
that.
to do it on your own terms. Just
Yeah.
speaking from
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah. What do you do, Camille? You
Well,
said
I
you
mean,
said you
I
watch
do.
a TV show or
I watch TV shows. Some of it's work related since I'm entertainment journalist
yeah.
on the other show that I work on. Granted, they don't really watch a lot of shows, so a lot of times it's just me giving recaps of things.
Mhm.
So there's that. And then I really love listening. Like now that my daughter's 13, I feel like I can get away with listening to all the music I couldn't listen to before, like all the old
Yes,
hip hop I love to listen to. Because
I
now I'm like,
understand.
oh, I don't have to worry about her saying these words at school anymore, or, or just
Right.
any of that. So now I made my own mommy's list playlist, which is all
Yeah.
like 2000
Oh.
older hip hop and some 1990s because I had to throw in Tupac. But like it's finally everything I would listen to me and my girls before we'd go clubbing or something like pre-gaming. Like it's songs like that type stuff.
Yeah.
And even some new stuff because I like some of the newer artists as well. But it's just music that makes me happy, reminds me of
Yeah.
things from the past or, because
Yeah.
I don't know what it was where I thought during that time I was mainly a stay-at-home mom that life would just wait for me in a way like, oh, and I'll just go back to my career just as I never left. And then I'm like, wait, I don't really want to do that anymore. I love
Yep.
podcasting. I love
Yeah.
acting as well, but it's not, I don't have control when my agent sends me stuff because they
Yeah.
send me stuff all the time, but because I'm in
Mhm.
braids, I'm not really getting anything. So I'm like, okay, time for the braids to come out. Because mommy needs a
Oh
job.
yeah. Hidden. Yeah. That's
My
a
daughter
that's
needs college funds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation too, Camille. So, like,
Mhm.
as Black women, showing up basically, like having the hair or a specific look or whatever, like to what you do being an actress. And then when people are trying to shop and get a contract, it's kind of like Black women, we do sort of concern ourselves with our hair. And, not should I not do these highlights? Whereas other races don't really have to worry about that. Or like you just said, braids, got to take the braids out so that you can get more opportunities. So that's like a whole show, right? Like,
I mean,
Yes.
the Crown Act just got passed, but it
Yes.
doesn't mean it's working. Yeah,
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I guess like I had braids 3 or 4 years ago and my agent was like, "We'll see, it's not very commercial." And I remember thinking, "What do you mean? Like all these different
yeah.
people had braids on TV, This Is Us and so on." So I
Oh,
felt
yeah.
comfortable with the idea of it.
Hmm.
I only got 2 jobs while I had braids in, and normally I work at least once a month, at least. And so
Mm,
it's now that things are opening up again, I got like 6 auditions
hmm.
and didn't book
Wow,
any of them. And for me, that's
congratulations.
rare. Like at least one of them I would
Awesome.
have booked. And so
Yeah,
I was like, all right, I'm not gonna I mean, because it is like they do want like natural hair color. Maybe it's
yeah.
the abno,
The blonde at the end. Yeah,
it might be a little too, I might have been pushing it a little too much with this one. If I made it all one color, they might have been cool with it, but it's a little too
yeah,
trendy too. So
yeah,
I'm not even going to blame it just on the braids, but it's the fact that it is very trendy. So they can't use
yeah.
it forever.
For
But
everything,
yeah.
yeah. Is that a thing for you, Ashley, at all? Is that something that you think about or consider when it comes to
Honestly, no.
clients?
That's probably the best thing about being in business for yourself. I
Yeah.
know when I did work for corporate, I couldn't do that. Like,
Hmm.
it was certain looks that we couldn't have.
Hmm.
I was really big on the straight long hair look for a long time because they made it feel like it's more polished. And I worked in well, let's just say I was the only Black woman there. There was no us there. So it was just kind of like it had to be certain looks and things like that. We couldn't wear braids, couldn't have dreads. I mean, it
Mm.
was. But now I don't care. I have tattoos and everything. Like, you go get this.
Take it or leave it.
That's
Yeah.
right. You either accept me for
always,
who I am or that's it. You
and
can
that's
find
the thing.
somebody else.
That's the thing for me. And I love, I love being an entrepreneur. And I know that I do consulting and speaking and coaching and all of that. And I know your hair plays a big role in getting bookings, like you were saying, Camille. But one of the things that I've always loved color, I've always loved expressing myself through my hair. It was straight, 4 days ago. Now it's curly. It could be blue. I love that. And so, I mean, I've been doing the blonde for a while, but it's been blue, it's been red, it's been a bunch of colors. And so for me, it's kind of sort of like take me as I am, and the right person that I'm supposed to connect with will love me. But I do want to ask this because everybody's on social media. Everybody has their business. People are always, you got to be here. You got to be there. You got to share a little bit about your life so people know you. You got to tell your story. That's this new thing. Be vulnerable. So how is it that you're able to be public, but also private, especially somebody like you, Laura, who your whole brand is around marriage coaching? And so I'm sure people want to know what's going on in your marriage. So how do you remain public, do the things that you need to do, but also private?
So my husband is a very private person. Difference between private and secretive, okay? Let's make sure we get that very clear because people like to take stuff and run with it. But my husband is a very private person. And so when I built Love Harder, I never built it off of our marriage. I never shared. You can go on my page. You won't see a lot of pictures of us because Love Harder isn't about me. What works for my marriage may not work for yours anyway, right? So what I've done is I've made sure that I was knowledgeable. I got certifications. I read books. I join focus groups. I learn what's going on in the marriage, and I make it about tips, tools, and strategies to help your marriage. I'm not telling you that this is going to work for everybody, but this is a tool. If I give Ashley a hammer and I give Camille a hammer, Ashley might use it to nail something down. Camille might use it to pull something up, but they both still have the hammer, right? So my marriage isn't focused. My ministry is not focused on my marriage. It's focused on the word of God. It's focused on my expertise. It's focused on my knowledge and my desire to serve other couples. It's not focused on what I do in my personal life because I'm always going to honor my husband. And that's not him. He's not even on social media. So I'm always going to honor my husband and make sure that whatever I share, if anything, it's going to be about what I've learned as a wife. It's not going to be what he's learned as a husband because that's his story to tell. And so I never put the expectation out there that this is about my marriage. So people don't come for me in that capacity. Now, I have had some people not book me because my husband doesn't do marriage coaching with me, which I think is completely foolish because you don't go to a counselor and say, oh, I'm not going to come to your counseling agency for marriage because your husband's not a counselor. Like, that's not his field. My husband's a computer scientist. He's great at what he does. And I want him to thrive in his own lane, right? So I don't set the atmosphere where people feel like they can come from me or my man because it's a completely different scenario if you come from my man. Just be very clear about that. I don't play about him. So, but I don't
play about mine.
I don't play about mine.
We watching this right now, like
mine. You gotta add the S. Mine.
But what I really do, I think it's important for people to understand that you don't have to share everything. You don't. But how you establish your platform, if people have the expectation that, oh, she started out sharing everything, and now she doesn't. Like, be mindful. Because people, unfortunately, do think that it is an open book that you have to tell them everything. And unfortunately, a lot of people do. And even to the ruin of their own relationship. And I'm not about that over here. I'm about helping you how I can. And that's it.
She's like, I'm not about. She letting y'all know.
I'm not.
Drop the mic.
Yes. If other people do it, it's great. I mean, as long as it's working for their relationship, but I'm always going to honor my husband first.
Right. I love it. Honor your husband first. Ashley, you want to add to that? And then Camille?
I mean, she
said enough.
Mic drop.
So you feel the same. You just stay, your private relationship is your private relationship and your public persona is that. And those are two separate things. You got to respect your relationship.
Even from a branding standpoint, I try to tell clients, like, your brand has its own personality and then you have your own. because I could be very shy, reserved, but I want my brand to be exciting. I want it to seem like I'm welcoming, I'm engaging, and you can do that just by branding yourself that way. Not necessarily meaning that you are that way, but you want to be that way. I mean, I still encourage you being authentic. I don't think you should be somebody or not. But in the same sense, I feel like it's two different things. Like your brand personality and yours it can be totally different. Right. And I'll say I'm the same either way, but I mean, there's professional Ashley, and then there's Ashley the artist. Like that's what I like to call myself. I'm more outgoing. I'm not in a business suit. I'm not dressed up in heels. You might see me with my nose ring one day and my tats out the next day. You know what I mean? So then they're like, "Is that Ashley?" Yeah, that's me.
Right.
So I mean, hey, I might be a rebel on the outside, but I want my brand to look like luxury. So it's the same thing. So I just felt like, I feel like there's two different things. So yes, you can definitely be private. And I mean, people only know what you what you tell them. If you expose them too much, I mean, that's really on you. But you definitely have to be careful about when you're branding your personal self versus your business.
Yeah. Al says can't model after reality shows. Everything can't be for social media consumption.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and I think that could be, that definitely can be a dangerous space, because I do think that we model our lives after what we see, which we do see a lot of reality shows now, and it could be what is infiltrating the relationships. I'll go to you, Camille, to wrap this particular question up. How are you able to remain private as being a public figure, and how are you able to manage it all?
Well, it's weird. Before social media, like a lot of my friends didn't even know what I did for a living. I mean, there was no point in telling them. They weren't casting directors. They weren't like there was no point. And so then my agent required me to get a social media account. And because like I have a personal private one that has like 70 followers, very small. And that's where I post pictures of personal things, family, friends, whatever. But and we have to be blood related or friends, like in real life. Because I post pictures of my daughter, and she's 13 now. She has that right to privacy. Well, she always had that right, but when you're younger and cuter, you're like, well, she's always been cute.
Yeah,
you might post more pictures because they let you pose for them, but never thought she'd come to an age where she wouldn't post for pictures. But anywho, I'm getting off the point. And so, like, I think it's really important for women. And particularly because men don't really have to navigate this. They don't have to, like, it's expected for them to keep their private life private. But for women, we have to almost show that we can have it all by having pictures of the perfect family, perfect husband, perfect kids. And it's not reality for everyone. And so I'm very cognizant of that. Like, I don't post a lot of stuff about my personal life for that reason. I used to, and then realized like they don't work in the same. My husband doesn't work in the industry. Every once in a while, they'll want somebody that's my real spouse to be in a shot. So he's done a couple of things, but he's a UPS driver. Like, he doesn't care about social media. He's not on social media. So there's that. And but when we got to meet President Biden together, of course I posted a picture with him. Like, why would it would be kind of weird if I cropped him? I mean, but there's
be pretty deep
when it's required for street cred. When you meet the president, you're allowed to post your spouse, I think.
Yes.
Otherwise, he doesn't like it. Sorry.
I love what you all have said, like, that you want to keep your relationship sacred. And I think that's what I hear is sacred. And you have to, like, I want to go back to what Laura said, how she wants to respect her husband's privacy. And then that's a sacred space for them. And so it's not necessary for the world to see it. And I love how Ashley was talking about how she can still be public, but have a private life so that she can express herself. Even though she's being authentic, she can express herself in different ways than than everybody gets to see. And I don't think it's not being authentic to show, because everybody, when you're lounging around the house, you are not screen selfieing it up and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
when you're getting
I
ready
mean,
for
you might be,
bed.
you just won't post it.
Yeah, you might.
A
Right.
lot of
When we
selfies in my
get
pajamas,
cute, we
but
gonna
nobody's
post a
gonna see
selfie.
it.
You're not posting
Yeah.
it, right? And so there are
Yeah,
certain
when we
things.
cute, we like,
You're
and most
cute,
of the time
right?
you probably get. I'll have selfies I took months ago, and I'll just now
Never
post
post
them.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
you be like, or you just post them now, like it was yesterday. You took it yesterday. You like, well, I'll make it cute.
Like,
I'll
is
go ahead
her
and
hair
post
like that? But yeah, that's the thing. Like, there are so many things that we do in our lives that are not for public consumption. And that does
Yeah,
not mean that we're being inauthentic. It just means that this is my
it's none of
life
your
over
business.
here. And this is
Yeah.
what she said, this is not your business. So
It's none of your business.
somebody said, I'm with Ashley. Oh, Jay Dwayne, I'm with Ashley. We can be transparent and confidential. I'm with Ashley too. And then Jen said, sacred is important.
Hey,
Sacred is
Jen.
important. Jen with Date Night by Design, and Jay Dwayne with Love is a Parable. You know, and I think it's really essential for people to get that balance, because what I believe it was Laura said, that you can end up in a scenario where you're telling too much and it ends up hurting your relationship. One of either Laura or Ashley, that it ends up crushing your relationship because you put too much of your business out there, and
Yeah.
it can end up crushing your relationship. And so what I want to do, because I think we could talk all night, I want to go ahead and begin wrapping up. This has been great. But while we wrap up, because it's Women's History Month, first of all, I want to thank you for agreeing to be a part of the show and a part of this Winning Women series. I wanted to highlight you. You guys may not know that you're being watched and that you're being appreciated. So I wanted to be one of those who shares with you that you are. And you are shining bright. You are shining a light on so many folks. And hopefully someone is inspired by hearing you all tonight. Hopefully somebody can get some productivity tips and be able to do something just a little bit better than yesterday. And then also I want to ask each of you, is there a woman, because it's Women's History Month, which is why we're doing the series, is there a woman in your life that you would like to shout out as we close out, to kind of give
Oh,
sort of a dedication, if you'd like, no pressure, that really stands out to you? And I'll start with you, Laura, go to Ashley, and then wrap it up with Camille.
Kim, I can't answer that. I have I'm for real. I have so many women that I honestly can't think of just one. I mean,
Yeah.
at least 20 come right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So that goes to prove too that women can work together, and
Absolutely.
love
I'm
each
in the
other,
same.
and women do support each other, and women do thrive in life together.
Yes.
But if I only had to pick one, I'm gonna have to go with my mama. You know, I gotta go with the
Shout out to
woman
mom.
who gave me birth. But so my mama, Tanya Brown, who was a teenage mom, she had me at the age of 15. At a time where a lot of people were not excited about her pregnancy, nor did they want her to give birth, but she chose to have me. And not only did she choose to have me, she chose to invest in my life. Till this day, if I call my mama, she gonna be there. And just watching all the sacrifices that she has made, a lot of things, she don't get the highlight. She's not in the spotlight, but because of the seeds that she's sown, it's allowed me to become who I am today. And so I have to say my mama, but to all of my friends and to all of the women who rally around me to just remind me of God's gift inside of me, I just want to say thank you. You all are beautiful. You all are wonderful, and you all have a calling on your life.
Amen.
Amen.
Right, Ashley? With that. Yes, because I feel the same way. I've met so many women over the past 3 years, just being a graphic designer and branding different companies. And I just feel like it's just so many that have changed my life. Even my clients, they inspire me and they don't even know it. Yeah. So, or just the people that's around me. So I feel exactly the same way. And though my mama didn't have me because I'm adopted, but she definitely oh man, she's the reason why I even love art as much as I do now. I had initially was talking about going to nursing school. My mom was like, "Nursing school, girl, you an artist." I mean, and that's how I even becoming an art teacher and just pursuing this career. And I mean, literally, when I was 5 years old, that's how my mom found out I could draw. I literally drew on the wall, and most mamas would get mad. But my mom was like, "Wait a minute, that looked like something."
My baby making a mural.
Yeah. I love it.
And then literally that Christmas, she surprised me with an art set, and I'll never forget that because that's how it all started. So yes, shout out to moms who encourage their children to be themselves and don't push them to be anything that they don't want to be or what they want you to be, but just to be yourself all the time. Yes. And I'm grateful for her to just shout out mom because I make a millionaire mom.
And we'll wrap up with Camille.
I mean, I would like to shout out my mom. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, my mom. I mean, she's the source of all the artwork behind me. Every earrings I wear on air are by my mom. Wow. She's an artist. These are handmade paper earrings. I don't know how well you can see them, but I can.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
She's gorgeous. Mom. They are gorgeous.
But I mean, she was the first entrepreneur I knew, and going out on her own. And she was a stunt woman back in the day in New Jack City, Jason's Lyric, a couple other films.
Oh, I love
her artwork was in Parenthood and stuff. Like she always inspired me because she never with every time you thought she was down, she came back even harder and stronger.
That's right.
Her gallery was sold from underneath her. Like she was paying a certain amount, I don't remember what. And somebody came and was like, we'll pay double. So she lost her first gallery that way. And she built onto her house her own. She's like, can't take this away. I don't have a mortgage. Like she's that cool. So definitely my mom, she's always supporting me. She's always telling me I could do things when I think I can't. And even though I had a learning disability, all that stuff, she was always the one that's like, so keep moving, keep doing it. And I mean, I graduated on the dean's list, and it's probably because of my mom. So yeah, I have to shout out. She was always, she would edit my papers for me. Even now, sometimes I'll send stuff to her to edit it for me because Grammarly can't catch everything. But yeah,
I use Grammarly too.
That's true.
Grammarly is the best thing.
It is though. It is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hello. I get so happy when I get a perfect little green thing. Like,
I love it. And I'm a grammar nerd, so I am Grammarly.
In my defense, I learned spelling the British English way. So I didn't even know that there wasn't a U in color until I got an iPhone and a squiggly line and favorite and all that stuff. So some of it's not my fault, but some of it, like
very true. Very true. Well, I have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed having you all, and I'm gonna show Jennifer's comment. Y'all are amazing. I echo that. Y'all are amazing. This show has been amazing. I've enjoyed our time together, and I once again want to thank you all for tuning in. Those who are watching, thank you all for being a part of the show. For the ladies who are on the panel, somebody said beautiful sisters, beautiful queens. Amazing ladies, you all are very inspiring. Thanks. So with that being said, I want you all to go and follow them. Now, if you have missed this whole show, I have been showing their social media information the whole entire show. So please go and follow them. You can go back, watch the replay, go back and follow them, their pages, their Instagram, their Facebook. Go and follow. Okay. So I would love for you to just really see what they have going on, all of the positivity that comes from each of them. And they're just a great, as I mentioned earlier in the show, great resources for information, connection. And so you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you don't. So last comment, you all ladies are amazing. Thank you all for sharing. Blessings to you and happy Women's History Month.
Yes.
Happy Women's History Month. You all have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. For those who are watching, we'll be back here next Tuesday to wrap up the Winning Women series with 3 more beautiful, talented women. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.